Hey everyone, today we're going to be checking out what I think are two of the best everyday carry bags that are currently on the market. Here I have the Rework Toshi pack and the Evergoods CTB20. Both of these have been fantastic to use. They really check off so many of the boxes that I'm normally looking for, and it feels like there's quite a few similarities between the two. They both come in at 20 liters, have external water bottle pockets, really good organizational layouts, but there's gonna be some key differences that you wanna keep in mind to find the one that's gonna work best for you. And that's what we're gonna be covering in this video. Before doing so, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Before getting into the video, one thing I wanted to mention is that I do have the wax canvas version of the CTB20 here. I do think that a more direct comparison is actually the nylon edition of the CTB20, but because of the similarities between the two, I thought it would just be easier to follow the video if I had the wax canvas edition to make the visual differences more distinct. I do have the nylon version here, and I'll pull it in at certain points during the video to call out some of the things that I feel are most similar between the nylon edition of the CTB20 and the Toshi pack. And so starting off with the appearance, both of these have a really minimal and subdued style, which I really like. These are the types of bags that I feel comfortable taking into pretty much any environment. I've used them for exploring various cities, going into the office, traveling, and they always felt like they blended in super well. Between the two, the visual differences will probably come down to the shape. The CTB20 feels like it tapers down a little bit more towards the bottom compared to the Toshi pack, which feels like it has a more kind of consistent shape. And then you also have, the patch for Evergoods, the Velcro patch at the bottom that's going to allow you to customize it. If you want to add something, Rework has a more minimal, simple appearance on the front. And beyond that, you'll also have a couple of different colors with the CTB20. You have the wax canvas edition, and then in the nylon versions, you also have a green colorway, which looks really cool. At the moment, the Toshi pack, I believe, is only available in black, but hopefully there's some more colors available in the future. And then as far as the materials, both of these feel really solidly built. With the Toshi pack, you have a recycled nylon that feels like it's gonna hold up well to rougher usage and offer a nice amount of weather resistance. It also helps keep the weight of the bag pretty low, which is nice, and you have some very smooth working YKK zippers all throughout. With the CTB20, you of course have the wax canvas version that I have here, but I think that a better comparison is going to be the 420D nylon edition, which I also have. This material has felt very durable. It's also going to offer a nice amount of weather resistance. And so, I've really had great experiences with both of them. I'm not honestly sure which is going to be better. I'd have to have the Toshi pack for a little bit longer, but in general, with my experience with recycled nylon, I really like the feel of this. It feels just slightly thicker than the 420D nylon. But again, both of these feel very durable. And with the Evergoods bag, you again have, very nice YKK zippers all throughout. Everything feels very durable. Continuing along the outside of the bag, both of these have dual external water bottle pockets, which is really nice. I'm gonna keep the nylon version of the CTB20 here for a second to compare the water bottle pockets, because this one has the elastic style, which I'm a huge fan of. I've talked about these a lot in the various CTB videos that I've done. They're able to accommodate a wide variety of water bottles. The material feels very durable and it's elastic. You have drainage at the bottom, and so really, really well implemented. The Toshi pack's water bottle pockets have also been really nice to use. You have a nice amount of space and elasticity here. Even when the bag is packed out, you're able to squeeze that in. And again, it's nice that both of them have a pocket on each side. So great implementation there. If you get the wax canvas edition of the CTB, the water bottle pockets are going to be a little bit different. They're not as elastic as the ones on the nylon version. You do have this magnetic system here, and they're still going to be able to accommodate a 20-ounce water bottle or so. And the aesthetic does match up with the exterior of the wax canvas, but I prefer the more elastic pockets just to give you that extra bit of flexibility. And beyond the water bottle pockets, with the CTB, you're going to have a side handle, which is really nice to allow you to carry this like a briefcase. It also works well with how the bag is laid out, which I'll talk about later in the video. You have an attachment point here near the top that's going to work well with the carabiner, hero clip, things like that. You have two of those actually, one on each side of the top handle. And I really like Evergoods' style of handles, particularly on the wax canvas editions. They just feel a little bit more comfortable in my opinion. And with the Toshi pack, you also have a couple of attachment points on the side These aren't going to be quite as spacious as the ones on the CTB, but they still get the job done with a variety of different carabiners and accessories. And then you have an excellent top handle on the Toshi pack. I love how much space this provides. I love the material. It feels super comfortable. There's no side handle, which makes sense, again, given the orientation of all of the pockets. It is a feature that I sometimes like to have, but with the way this top handle is implemented, I actually feel like I prefer this a little bit more to the Evergoods style handles. The last thing I'll call out while we're talking about the exterior is that both of these do have the ability to stand up on their own. It's somewhat inconsistent. It'll really come down to how evenly distributed the loadouts are, but great that it's at least a possibility so that you can place this down next to you and access the compartments when needed. Taking a look at the capacity, both of these come in at about 20 liters, which is a really great daily bag size. It did feel like they're able to hold a similar amount, and they also felt pretty similar as I was wearing them. They're a little bit on the shorter side, and they're also fairly deep, so you can really pack all of the compartments out. They'll stick out a little bit, but that height is what helps make them so versatile as a personal item bag. They're still gonna be pretty solid for minimal travel, and then they're gonna be able to hold the items that I normally like to carry with me on my day-to-day. Continuing with the harness system, so far both bags have been really comfortable to wear. This is another area where I will pull in the nylon edition of the CTB20 versus the wax canvas, because the wax canvas edition doesn't have the breathable back panel and straps. And so that's an area where I do think that the nylon edition is still a little bit better if you live in a hotter climate, because it gives you that breathability. And so on the straps, you have a nice amount of padding, sternum strap, you have the pass-throughs for a hydration bladder. And then with Evergoods' harnesses, you have that curvature in the shoulders, and the material that's on the inside and on the back panel is going to offer a nice amount of breathability and support. With the Toshi pack, you have a very impressive harness. I really like the padding that they've used here. It feels super comfortable. It's really cushioned. You have a nice breathable material on the inside. They have a great width, so I could wear this all day without any issues. I do prefer the straps on the Toshi pack to the ones on the CTB. And then same for the back panel. You just have a very cushioned padding that extends all the way down, a nice amount of elevation here, that same breathable material. So everything here is sort of the style of harness that I really like to wear. You also have a sternum strap here, and both bags are gonna offer a luggage pass-through, and these are both great in their own way. I do kind of like when the luggage pass-throughs allow the bag to stand up so that you can access your laptop from the top. But I think that the CTB20's layout does a good job with allowing you to rest this on your luggage. It pairs with the handle, and then the orientation still matches up with the laptop so that it's easy to get it in and out while you're going through the airport or something like that. So really just thoughtful designs on both of these. But again, I would probably give a slight edge to the Toshi pack on the harness. Jumping into the organizational options, both of these have a nice variety of pockets that are well thought out. I've talked about the CTB's layout in so many videos, and it continues to be one of my all-time favorites. You have the great quick access pocket at the top, just so much space here for your sunglasses, AirPods. I really love how everything just fits in here without kind of interfering with the space in the rest of the compartment. Same for this quick access pocket at the front. I'm always surprised with how much it's able to hold. Even on the smaller CTB20, this can still handle the Evergoods Civic Access Pouch 1/2 liter. I put my laptop chargers and adapters in here, toiletry bag when I'm traveling. So many different use cases, so I absolutely love this pocket. And then you have the front zippered compartment that, again, is meant to work well when you're carrying this by the handle. And this has its own independent volume, so I can rest the pouch in there if I need to. Sometimes I'll throw my tablet in. And then you have some internal organization, the zippered mesh pocket for something like a charging cable, another slip pocket for a phone. I have my mouse. You have a little lanyard with a clip. And then at the top, you have an additional slot that's gonna be a good spot for a pen. And so great layout. With the Toshi pack, you have another quick access pocket at the top. This one isn't gonna be quite as spacious as the one on the CTB, but it still offers enough capacity for the types of items that I would normally store. I just have a headlamp in here at the moment, but I can toss my AirPods in here, a charging cable, and so it's still a very capable compartment. And then you have a quick access pocket here at the top, which I guess could kind of be equivalent to this one here, kind of combines some of the different areas. And so this is gonna offer a nice amount of volume, great for storing pouches, a packable jacket, big adapters. I've put my drone in here. At the moment, I just have a packable tote bag, a couple of different pouches. I have my sunglasses. You do have a couple of slip pockets here, some elastic, spacious compartments, which is nice, sunglasses, portable battery, and then you have a zippered pocket on the back for anything smaller. And you have this lanyard that's gonna be a good spot for your keys. You can actually move this around the bag, which is really cool. So you can put this here. You can also put it in the compartment at the front. And one of the coolest things about this bag is that you have these dual zippers that allow you to access this front compartment. So if you swing your bag from your right shoulder or your left shoulder, doesn't matter, you'll be able to access this same area. It's just one compartment. And you know, it offers a nice amount of space. It's not the biggest compartment, but it can still handle something like my laptop charger, set of keys. I also have Tom Bin, handy little thing pouch there just to kind of fill it out. So you do have a decent amount of space. It can be a little tight to get things in and out if you try to put something a little thicker, but very cool to have that idea to allow you to access it from either side. So on the quick access front, I think both of them have a lot to offer, but I still give a bit of an edge to the CTB's layout for just how many different options are provided and how the space is distributed. And moving into the laptop compartments, both of them have a dedicated laptop area, which is really nice. With the CTB, you have the vertically oriented zipper, and then you have a very spacious area here, padded laptop sleeve that's suspended, and you have the Velcro strap to secure it if you want to. You also have a little Velcro backing on the back, so you don't have to use it. And you have plenty of space here for another, maybe tablet, notebook, anything a little bit flatter. And so this has worked well, very easy to get to my device when I need to. On the Toshi pack, you have the vertical orientation on the laptop compartment. And so very easy to get to your laptop when you need to. This is gonna also offer a nice amount of protection. You have a divider in the middle so that you can separate two devices if you need to. And both of them do a good job of offering padding, keeping your laptop suspended, making it easy to access it. Ultimately, which one is gonna work better for you will come down to the orientation that you prefer for the bags. I still tend to prefer the top loading layout a little bit more, as I usually place my bag down next to me on my day-to-day at the office. And so it's just slightly easier to get it in and out. And then moving into the main compartments, both of these have clamshell style openings. And one thing that's cool about the Toshi pack is that the zipper is designed in such a way that you can kind of flip this open without opening it all the way. And so you can kind of do this with any clamshell style bag, but the shape and the way that this is designed really facilitates this, whereas it feels like you kind of have to force it with the CTB, and it might not work depending on how you've loaded out this main area. Whereas here, it really feels like you have a clear way to open this up. Regardless, both of them are gonna offer the full visibility into the main compartment. I'll go ahead and zip the compartment up so everything doesn't come flying out, and you can get a look at the inside. And so in the CTB at the moment, I have more of a minimal EDC loadout. I don't even have all the pouches that I normally use. And with the Toshi pack, I have a minimal travel setup with a packing cube and a toiletry bag. And so I'll go ahead and start with the Toshi pack since it's a little bit more packed out at the moment. I have the Air Dot kit here, and I have the Peak Design compressible packing cube. Both of those fit in there comfortably, and it still felt like there was a little bit of leftover space still. And on the inside, you can now get a look at, you have the slip pocket here on the back. You have a nice light liner to provide you with plenty of visibility. For the CTB, at the moment, I just have some of my pouches. So Beat Studio wireless headphones, Lockbee Tech pouch, Evergoods Civic Access pouch 1 liter. These are gonna, of course, fit very easily here. And they both have similar capacity as far as being able to hold all of the other pouches that I might have with me if I was really packing these out. This one also has a slip pocket on the back. I have a book in here at the moment. The material here feels more premium than the one on the Toshi pack. I would say this is a very nice, elastic, durable feeling piece. This one is a little thinner, both elastic. And then the liner for the Evergoods bag also feels just a little bit more durable than the one on the Toshi pack. So that's another difference. And with the CTB, you also have the aluminum stays in the handles here. And so that's just another sort of difference to call out. It helps the bag keep a more rigid structure. And so I'll go ahead and load out the packing cube into the CTB20. which is gonna fit comfortably. And then I have the toiletry bag. Both of those fit easily. It's able to close. And then with the Toshi pack, you know, I have a couple of pouches, different accessories. No problems on that one so far. I could toss in the Civic Access pouch, 1/2 liter, and then I can still take advantage of this compartment on the front to hold that alpaca admin pouch, which was in the CTB20. So really both of them very similar as far as what they can hold. And taking a look at the lid, on the CTB20 you have this mesh zippered pocket that has its own independent volume, great for additional pouches or when you're traveling for tossing in some socks and underwear, anything else that you want to keep separated. And you have a zippered compartment at the top with some internal organization. With the Toshi pack, you just have the one compartment that's going to be a zippered mesh compartment. And so this has a nice amount of elasticity. And I really like the design with the zipper in the middle. So if you're opening this up from either direction, everything isn't going to just spill out of the compartment. You do have one less pocket here. So that is a bonus if you prefer to have some extra organization. And again, with the CTB and the way that the space is all distributed, it's always so impressive how usable this compartment is. So I'd still have to give a little bit of an edge to the main compartment and the layout to the CTB. And then the last thing I want to talk about is the pricing. The CTB20 in nylon comes in at about $259 or $260. And then the wax canvas edition is closer to $300, I believe. For the Toshi pack, this came out in pre-order at around $170, and then I believe that the retail price is going to be around $190. So that's a pretty big difference even if you go with the nylon CTB in the Toshi pack at its regular price. So if price is going to be your main factor, then I think that the Toshi pack is of course going to have an edge there. But you know, both of them feel like they offer a great value for the features and the build quality that they have. And you know, I think that ultimately, to kind of summarize some of the differences and takeaways between the two, capacity, they're going to be pretty similar. I personally prefer the harness system on the Toshi pack, and I prefer the organizational layout on the CTB. As far as the aesthetic, it's kind of a wash for me. I really like how both of them look. I do like that there's some extra colorways and materials for the CTB, but style is always subjective, so that might not be a huge factor for you. So if you're looking for something that's going to be a little bit more affordable and still offer some great organization and a harness system that is one of the most comfortable that I've used recently, the Toshi pack is probably going to be the way to go. And if you have a little bit of a higher budget and you're looking for a bag that has what I think is one of the most optimal layouts, super easy to use and access all of your stuff, and you're looking for something that's going to give you some kind of more premium materials in various areas of the bag, then I think this CTB20 is going to be the way to go. Regardless of which one you go with, I think you're going to end up with a bag that's just going to be fantastic to use and work well in pretty much any situation. And so that's it. Those are some of the similarities and differences between the Rework Toshi pack and the Evergoods CTB20. Hopefully this video was helpful, and if you have any questions on anything that I covered in the video or suggestions for similar bags that I should check out, as always, please let me know in the comments. And I'll make sure to include links in the description below to the dedicated reviews that I've done for each of these bags, as well as to some of the other roundup videos that I've done, where I've talked about my favorite new bags of the year, some of my favorite lightweight bags, favorite personal item bags, and I'll also link to some of the comparison videos that I've done that have included the CTB and CTB26. And if you have ideas for other roundup videos or comparisons that you'd like to see, definitely let me know about those as well. And I want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.